from the University of Florida College of Journalism and Communications. You're watching WUFT News at 6.
The University of Florida's small animal hospital is now a top care facility. Good evening. It's Tuesday, February 17th. I'm Chloe Stradinger.
And I'm Jessica Barreto. Thanks for joining us. The hospital has now been certified for its excellence in veterinary emergency care. WFT's Nicole Acevedo joins us now in the studio. Nicole, how did UF's facility get to this level?
Ladies, it's taken some time and a number of doctors and specialists to make this hospital a top-tier facility, but now a national society says it's the best care a pet can get. At least in the state of Florida, this hospital is the only one to reach a level 1 certification, and they have everything from a fully loaded ICU to a fully staffed 24-hour emergency room, which is what doctors say is the key to their success and their service.
Pets and pet owners alike at UF's small animal hospital are feeling better. Not only are they being treated and healed by trained specialists, now their medical care is certified by the Veterinary Emergency and Critical Care Society, or VACS.
We see a whole host of different types of emergencies. Everything from general vomiting, diarrhea, to trauma, broken legs.
And more complex diseases like cancer. After years of building up their staff and resources to take care of the emergencies like these, the hospital has officially been named one of the nation's best as a level 1 critical care facility. Complete with 24/7 emergency care, they're able to treat more than 4,000 animals a year.
All of our specialties typically are on call, are either present or, we can get in within an hour or two.
It's the only facility in the state to reach this level of care, and adding to staff helped them get to that point.
We probably have approximately 40 to 50 personnel at any given time, just between the different shifts and the technical staff, because it's not only the doctors who a lot of times people see up front, it's also the nursing staff and assistants that help to care and provide good care for the patients.
Even though some of the animals may not be excited, their owners can feel more at ease and leave their best friends in good hands.
For more information on the Small Animal Hospital and on their on-call specialists, you can visit their website at smallanimal.vethospital.ufl.edu.
Thanks, Nicole. If you're on I-75 today, chances are you saw nothing but the bumper in front of you. This was a snapshot of the congestion on I-75 near Paynes Prairie earlier this afternoon. The interstate is back open now, but it was shut down for several hours 2 different times earlier today. Major delays are still being reported on area roads this evening, including 441, Southwest Archer, Southwest 34th and Williston Road because of earlier accidents. According to Gainesville Smart Traffic, a total of 16 accidents have been worked by Gainesville police officers in the Florida Highway Patrol in Alachua County alone. This is more than twice the daily average on a normal day. And the rain continues this evening.
UF forecaster Tony Sadiku joins us now from the Weather Center to tell us when it will stop. Tony?
Good evening, ladies. Absolutely. It has been a soggy one. The roads have been wet, and the rains will continue through about 10 or so o'clock this evening before we'll see any bit of an improvement. I did want to zoom it down to areas like Marion County where it hasn't rained as much, but now they're really getting the brunt of it, and that'll continue as well. Really keeping all of north central Florida, the widespread activity will continue, like I mentioned, through about 10 o'clock. That'll keep the roads slick. So if you got plans to head out again this evening, keep that in mind that we will continue to see the rains up till about 10 or so o'clock. I'm going to track the back edge of this now. I'm thinking by the time this is all said and done, it'll be closer to 11 o'clock this evening. So we will continue to see basically the 1-2 punch of this system before the front clears us out, and we will see the cooler weather behind that as well. But I did want to track the rest of this now. Look at temperatures begin to drop. The rain's already beginning to taper off by 10 or so o'clock, and then that'll continue as well. We'll begin to see those clearing skies as the temperatures drop all the way down to the upper 30s. Wind chill is going to be a factor as well. Colder air will linger. I'm tracking more on that on my main weather forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Tony. One local nonprofit farm is working tirelessly to make fresh veggies accessible to Gainesville's homeless. Heavy rain didn't stop volunteers and staff at Porter's Community Farm from tending and harvesting vegetables this morning. Their efforts are part of the farm's primary mission to supply vegetables to the St. Francis Homeless Shelter, which is only a few blocks away. The farm's donation of vegetables is used regularly in the 200 meals the shelter serves daily. One worker says he's pleased to be able to provide food for the homeless shelter that's not processed or canned.
Being able to include some fresh, nutrient-dense produce into a meal that may be otherwise tasty but not necessarily nutrient-dense is a really important thing.
The farm has donated more than 2,000 pounds of produce to St. Francis and other local charities since opening in 2012.
Through with the chew, that's the campaign to make sure people are aware of the dangers of smokeless tobacco. This week, the Alachua County Health Department is trying to inform people about this deadly addiction. While cigarette use in Florida has declined over the past decade, the use of chewing tobacco has failed to decrease. That's because people who dip and chew believe it is less harmful than smoking. But experts say that smokeless tobacco can be just as dangerous.
To really encourage anyone who maybe they use smokeless tobacco to use this week as a time to quit, and to know that they're really not alone.
Users of these tobacco products actually have an 80% higher risk of oral cancer, along with risks of heart attacks and strokes. The health department wants users to know help is available. Free classes are being offered tomorrow for those who want to quit. And the University of Florida is making room for more students.
But they won't be coming to campus anytime soon. WFT's Lucas Stolengowski joins us from the newsroom. Lucas, this new program surprised some of the students who were accepted into it.
That's right, Chloe. University of Florida admissions decisions were released on Friday to hopeful high schoolers, but about 1/5 of those admitted received a different acceptance message.
UF has implemented a new off-site online program called Pathway to Campus Enrollment, also known as PACE, to admit a larger number of freshmen into the school. However, many students who were accepted to PACE did not know about the program before Friday evening.
At first, I was confused because I've never heard of the PACE program. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that was an option. I actually at first thought that I didn't get in, but then I read on and I realized that I did get in. It's just I didn't have enough room for me to attend it now in the fall or summer.
Naturally, some incoming freshmen are concerned about how the program will affect their college experience. While they won't have access to services such as recreational sports or athletic tickets for a few semesters, they will still leave with the same diploma as every other student.
If you go through the PACE program, you're a University of Florida student. You are in the UF online program, which means you also pay less for tuition.
25% less to be exact. PACE students are required to have 60 credits before arriving on campus, but up to 45 of those can come from AP or dual enrollment programs. More than 3,000 students were accepted to the PACE program and have until May 1st to make an admission decision.
The Pathway to Campus Enrollment offers more than 60 majors, and those who decide to enroll in PACE will begin classes in fall 2015.
Thanks, Lucas. An 89-year-old grandmother's windows are still broken 2 months after police raided her home. Vera Thompson was taking her Thursday afternoon nap when suddenly the police barged in.
I woke up, the guy is standing over me with a gun telling me where's the drugs and where's the money. I said, what drugs and what money you're talking about?
In the police search warrant, which describes Thompson's home down to the roof color, Riviera Beach police list what they believe was inside, including cocaine and heroin. Police came up with nothing, and Thompson says all of her drugs are prescription. Riviera police say they conducted surveillance of the home leading up to the raid, but reports never listed an address. The city said it will pay for the damages caused by the raid, but after 2 months, Thompson is still waiting for the city to follow through. And a Marion County man is in jail after investigators say he pointed a gun at a deputy. They say Deputy Joseph Jenkins was trying to wake up a man in his car after getting a report of a reckless driver. They say Jenkins was able to wake up the man, who then pulled a gun on him. Jenkins was able to disarm the man and place him under arrest. The man failed a sobriety test and faces several charges, including aggravated assault, driving under the influence, and possession of a concealed weapon. WFT News at 6 is just getting started. Coming up, parents in California are upset after the racy movie 50 Shades of Grey was shown in a drive-in theater right next to a go-kart track.
Plus, religious discrimination is on the rise in France. Those stories and more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Ashton Carter has been sworn in as the Secretary of Defense. Vice President Joe Biden did the honor today, calling Carter a genuine scholar of both strategic military affairs and nuclear weapons policy, and a profoundly capable manager. Secretary Carter then outlined 3 commitments he's making as Defense Secretary. They cover working with the President, a commitment to securing the future, and one to the men and women he now leads. And the racy movie 50 Shades of Grey hit the big screen this weekend and attracted huge audiences worldwide. But some parents in Sacramento, California are less than thrilled about the movie being shown at their local drive-in. Kathy Park reports.
Off Highway 50, next to the traffic signs, you're dealing with more than just bumper-to-bumper traffic. Proceed with caution because this might have you doing a double take.
I've heard it's there's a lot, kind of graphic and stuff, a lot of sex.
50 Shades of Grey, the erotic romance novel turned movie, is giving folks both in and around the West Wind Drive-In an eyeful.
You go back to the 40s and 50s, something like that would have shocked everybody. So that also kind of goes to show where our society is going. It's changing a lot.
But the biggest shock seems to be coming from right next door, with families coming out from go-karting.
I just don't think it should be on a big screen TV out in the middle of, public to where anybody could, turn around and see it.
I think it was probably a poor choice on their part.
It's not really appropriate for kids, like my age, but adults, if you want to go watch that, you can go watch that.
On this Monday movie night, even with J-Lo's A Boy Next Door and SpongeBob SquarePants playing in the background, a new scene for the movie now bound with a layer of caution.
The manager of the drive-in said that after the showings this weekend, they've decided to change the location of the screen making it tough to sneak a peek. And the judge has denied a request for a mistrial in the trial of the man accused of killing American sniper Chris Kyle. During today's proceedings, the prosecution introduced new evidence not found in the initial search of Eddie Ray Routh's home. Defense attorneys for Routh asked for a mistrial, but the judge denied that request and asked jurors to disregard it. On Monday, the prosecution played a videotape of Routh confessing to the fatal shootings of Kyle and his friend Chad Littlefield during an interview with a Texas Ranger. Routh has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity to capital murder charges.
Fierce fighting continues in eastern Ukraine today, despite a ceasefire that was supposed to take effect on Sunday. Pro-Russian rebel troops say they've taken a key rail junction in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian government troops and the rebels failed to pull back heavy weapons from the front lines as stipulated in the latest ceasefire agreement. Both sides said yesterday they would only pull their weapons back if the other side did so first. Ukrainian artillery continued to pound rebel positions, and rebel troops moved into parts of Debaltseve. Rebels fired rockets throughout the morning, and at least 5,000 people have died since the fighting began in January. And the Council of Europe's Human Rights Commissioner said there has been an increase in hate speech and crime against both Jewish and Islamic communities. Speaking in Paris today, the commissioner said that people are scared. His comments come a month after attacks by Islamic extremists in Paris left 20 people dead, including the 3 gunmen. The commissioner went on to say that there were more than 100 incidents of Muslims being attacked just in January. He said that France has seen a large increase in anti-Muslim incidents in 2013 and 2014, and even more in 2015. According to the commissioner, there was also a twofold increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the first half of 2014.
Since France has one of the largest Jewish communities in Europe, this is a particular concern. I think that people are scared, and I think that the declarations of the political leaders that France must be a secure place for Jews, and a France without Jews is not the France we know.
And a one-way ticket to the Red Planet may sound like the plot of a science fiction movie, but 100 people are in the running to make it a reality. Nonprofit company Mars One has a plan to create a human colony on Mars, but not everyone is fit to be an astronaut. The list of thousands of applicants has been narrowed down to 100 people. 5 of them are from the UK. Claire Whedon from Kent, England is one of those finalists. Whedon is a self-proclaimed adrenaline junkie. She said her family's excited that she's still in the running, but her boyfriend seems a little bit annoyed. The Mars One outpost is scheduled to be fully operational by 2023. The first group of humans are expected to land there 2 years later.
And UF forecaster Tony Sadiku is tracking another cold snap on the horizon, one that could put our lowest temperatures of the winter in jeopardy. Tony?
Yeah, Jessica, our coldest temperature thus far this winter season has been 26 degrees in November. You'll see that on my 6th day, along with some really cold numbers. All of that's after the break. All right, you'll be trading in those umbrellas for some heavy winter coats. I'm tracking rain moving out, but colder air replacing it, and it'll last a couple days. I'm University of Florida Forecaster Tony Sadiku, welcome back today. No doubt it was a messy one out there. The roads were slick. Like we mentioned earlier, we saw 16 accidents just in Gainesville alone. So certainly not the best day to be outdoors, and gloomy as well. Temperatures struggle. In fact, we hit that high very early in the day. Temperatures already beginning to drop, and you'll see that. I wanted to show you Storm Track radar live. Already seeing the widespread activity really for much of the area, and that continues as well. Right now seeing some locally heavy downpours just areas west of Ocala, and much of this will continue to overspread the region now as we move on into the 7 to the 8 o'clock hour. Most of the activity will begin to taper off, I think, by 10 o'clock as we approach the midnight. I want to track it for you with Future Track. Watch right now, like I mentioned, through the 8 o'clock hour. If you got plans to head out this evening, yes, you'll need the umbrellas. Yes, you'll need to take it easy on the roadways. Back edge of this, as you could tell, 10 p.m., anywhere from Jacksonville to Gainesville, and that'll continue through Ocala through maybe the midnight hour. The clouds linger as well, and once the clouds do break off, you notice the temperatures dropping quickly. We're back down in the 30s tonight as colder air rushes in. The winds will pick up as well out of the north, and guess what that means? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a wind chill on your Wednesday morning. You'll feel it heading out the door. It's going to feel closer to freezing, even though our actual low will be closer to the upper 30s, lower 40s. So that's what we're watching, lower 30s near 33 degrees. This is your feels like number heading out the door. Yes, it's going to be cold areas like Lake City, lower 30s, as cold as the upper 20s in Perry. And this isn't just a one morning event. In fact, our next 4 mornings will be some bitter cold mornings, and we could even hit our lowest point of the winter season. That's what we're tracking. Check this out, 38 on Wednesday, dropping to 30 for an overall low, but that's not the big story. There's certainly a bigger story will be the wind chill in the teens, as we do get a reinforcing front that will help to keep those winds elevated once again. Our actual temperature on Friday will be closer to the mid-20s, wind chills closer to the lower 20s. And yeah, Saturday, a little bit of an improvement, but not by much. So you get the idea. If you need to start preparing to protect the plants, the pets, as well as the pipes, certainly want to take those precautions early, as it is going to be a prolonged period of some very cold weather. And folks, the afternoons won't look that better as well. For example, on your Wednesday, temperatures struggle. Note our average high is actually closer to 70 degrees, and on your Wednesday, folks, only topping off mid-50s, say 56 in Gainesville, 50s, mid-50s really all across the board. Maybe some areas near Williston, Ocala could touch the upper 50s, areas closer to 60, but not by much. And now the big idea so far, we've got this huge dip in the jet stream, polar vortex stretching all the way down into the states, and really including everybody in this mess. The good news, though, is this is what we're tracking. We will warm up. Yes, folks, we're chasing the 70s, closer to 80. You'll see all that in my 6 days. So here it is. The jet stream lifts as we head into the weekend, and that will allow some strong southerly flow that will quickly warm us up immediately, and you'll see all of that right behind me as well. But did want to recap, though, as we head into our Wednesday, our Thursday, and our Friday. It's going to look great outside. I mean, I'm not going to mess with you on that. It's certainly going to be some sunny skies, but the afternoons will struggle. 50s, 40s, and folks, our average low is actually 46. So I find it kind of funny that that's where we'll top it off on Thursday. Highs struggling on Friday, but we do rebound a little bit. We could see a hard freeze likely early in the morning, but oh boy, we're back in the 70s and just in time, even reaching temperatures closer to 80 by Sunday. So it's a nice looking weekend ahead, ladies, and I hope you got some plans to enjoy. Back to you.
Thanks, Tony. It's a wet night in Gainesville, and unfortunately, the weather has also put a damper on local sports.
With more, we bring in Joel Sebastianelli. Gator fans might be a little disappointed.
Yeah, that's right. The Florida baseball game tonight against Florida A&M has been postponed, but still other SEC sports on the docket tonight. We'll take a look around the conference in college basketball. That's coming up next on Sports. Welcome back. I'm Joel Sebastianelli, and here's what's happening in sports. Gator baseball got off to a promising start over the weekend, rolling over Rhode Island by a combined tally of 37-5. Today got off to a promising start, too, with early weather forecasts suggesting that the rain would stop in time for a home game against Florida A&M. But the rain did not go away, so the previously scheduled baseball game did. No, that's not the Swamp Football Stadium, nor is it a natural wetland. This was the scene at McKeithen Stadium earlier this afternoon during a day-long downpour. No makeup date has been announced yet for today's game. A night off could be a good thing, though. Looking ahead, the 5th-ranked Gators have 4 games in 5 days now, including a 3-game series against number 14 Miami. First, Florida travels to Tampa tomorrow night to take on South Florida at 6:30. Rain can't ruin a busy night in high school hoops, though. Eastside's game against Lake Weir highlights tonight's batch of regional semifinal matchups. Sometimes the postseason is like a new beginning, but for these two schools, playoff basketball is the final chapter.
We're familiar with them. We don't play them. This will be our 4th time playing them. And different guys did different things for them, and we know what to expect. Going into this game.
Other games involving local schools include Pensacola at Gainesville in Class 6A. GHS is shooting to advance to its 5th regional finals in 8 years. Pensacola bounced the Hurricanes last year, 61-54 in the semifinals. PK Yonge visits Trinity Catholic in Class 5A. Both of those games tip off at 7. And over in Class 1A, Lafayette takes on Hawthorne in a battle of Hornets. Lafayette has not won a postseason game since 1994. And while that game's going on, Crescent City hosts Newberry. It's pretty tough to find a topic in sports that everybody can agree on. If you've watched Kentucky basketball this season, though, it's tough to argue the Wildcats aren't the best team around. And the voters agree. Unanimous number 1 UK is 25-0 and 1 win away from the best start in school history as they visit Tennessee tonight. Kentucky has been a force to be reckoned with, led in part by high-flying Willie Cauley-Stein. Aaron Harrison is the team's top point scorer and passer, averaging over 11 points and 4 assists per game. The Wildcats beat South Carolina 77-43 last time out and have only had 6 games this season decided by single digits. 4 of those have come on the road. Tennessee has had a rough go of things lately, though, losers of 5 of their last 7 games. Tip-off is set for 7. Now, the last close game that UK played was a 2-point thriller at LSU. Tonight, the Tigers play at Texas A&M. Jordan Mickey gets the lion's share of the credit for LSU's success, but he's not their only prolific player. Jarrell Martin dropped a game-high 21 points, plus 12 rebounds versus UK, including this gorgeous throwdown in the first half. Tip-off in College Station is scheduled for 9. Also on the menu tonight in conference action, Georgia welcomes South Carolina to Athens at 7, and later, the Iron Bowl hits the hardwood as Auburn looks to get back to 500 against rival Alabama. Now, we talked about Gator baseball. They only have to wait 1 day to get back in competition. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez with the Yankees, had to wait 211 games, and ahead of his return this season, he wrote a handwritten letter of apology today to Yankees fans.
Thank you, Joel. One last look at the weather forecast after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. I did want to leave you with another look at radar. As you can tell, widespread rains continue. Nothing in the way of lightning or severe activity, but do expect the rains to continue to push off as the back edge of this makes its way from south to north over the next several hours. Thinking by the 10 o'clock hour, most areas will begin to dry up. But folks, once the rains end, expect the temperatures to get cold, and for many days, folks, on your Wednesday morning lows, the upper 30s will actually feel like the lower 30s. Afternoon in the 50s, a nice breeze. It's going to be a struggle despite sunshine. We do warm up though by the weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, Tony. And thank you at home for watching WUFT News at 6, a production from UF's Innovation News Center.
We'll see you again tomorrow, and don't forget, WUFT News is always on at WUFT.org. Nightly Business Report is coming up next. Good night.